A woman I'd never met showed up at our house and told me to divorce my husband. My husband said she needed his help. I was home alone one morning when the doorbell rang. I opened it expecting a package, but instead there was a young woman standing on my porch. She was pretty, maybe mid-20s, but she looked at me like I was the one who did not belong there. Before I could even speak, she goes, "You need to divorce him. He's mine. We're meant to be together." I actually laughed because I genuinely thought it was a prank, but she did not smile. She just stared at me with these cold, empty eyes and said, "I'm not joking. He loves me. He just hasn't admitted it yet." Then she just turned around and walked back to her car like she had just dropped off a package. I stood there frozen, watching her drive away, trying to figure out how she knew where I lived. When my husband Dean got home, I told him everything. I described her face, her voice, every word she said. He went completely still and I knew something was very wrong. I asked him who she was, but he just sat there in silence. My hands started shaking because I needed to know what was going on. I finally asked him if he was having an affair. He looked up at me with pain in his eyes and promised me he had never touched her. He told me her name was Nadia and that she had been one of his patients. Dean is a therapist, and Nadia had lost her entire family in a car accident. She came to him for help with her grief, but she started getting too attached during their sessions. She kept asking personal questions about his life, wanting to know if he was married and where he lived. One day he caught her following him to his car after a session, so he transferred her to another therapist. He thought that was the end of it, but she must have followed him home before the transfer. We called the police that night, but they told us they could not do anything unless she made a direct threat. It did not take long for things to get worse. I started spotting Nadia's car parked across the street from our house, just sitting there watching us. Then she got closer. I walked out of the grocery store and she was standing 10 feet away from me with this little smile on her face. She did not say a word, and I was so shaken that I rushed to my car. Then the letters started showing up on our doorstep. Some were love letters to Dean about their connection, and others were addressed to me calling me an obstacle. One note said, "You're temporary, he just doesn't know it yet." I could not sleep after that. Then one afternoon, I came home and found her sitting on our front porch like she owned the place. She looked at me and said, "I'm going to tell everyone what he did to me." I told her to get off my property, and she laughed and said, "Go ahead and call the police. No one will believe you." She filed a formal complaint the very next day claiming Dean had started a relationship with her, and the board suspended his license. Dean was devastated. I watched him stop eating and barely leave the bed for days. I come home early from work one day and notice a window on the side of the house is shattered. The front door is wide open and my heart is pounding. I hear footsteps upstairs, so I climb the stairs slowly. Our bedroom door is open and Nadia is standing in front of my mirror wearing my clothes. She has on my favorite blue dress, the one Dean bought me for our anniversary, and she is brushing her hair with my brush. When she sees me in the mirror, she smiles and says, "You're home early." I wasn't finished getting ready for him. She turns around and I see the scissors in her hand. "He doesn't love you," she says calmly. "Once you're gone, he'll finally see clearly." Then I hear Dean's voice from behind me. He had come home right after me. He tells her to put the scissors down and that he can help her. She looks at him with tears in her eyes and says, "You do love me. I knew it. You came for me." Dean takes a step closer and reaches for the scissors. She snaps. She screams, "You're lying! She turned you against me!" She lunges at me and I scream. Dean tackles her before she can reach me. She falls on the ground groaning about a broken rib. Dean held me on the floor of our bedroom while the cops arrived and dragged her out. She kept screaming, "Tell them you love me! Tell them!"